Welcome back, y'all. Once again, you're with the show that walks you through the archives of R&B craftsmanship, brotherhood, and legacy. Man, y'all know who this guy to my right is. It's the great
My name is Bryan-Michael Cox, and you know my guy to the left is the incredible
Johnta Austin. Welcome to Sessions.
New.
What is new?
I mean, obviously, I know we kind of talked about Versuz before.
Oh yes.
It came-
If you're
it-
seeing this, this is
Yeah,
post
This is post Versuz.
Tank and Tyrese Versuz.
What?
Let's a quick after action report
Yeah.
of the Versuz. What do you think?
I like.
Turtleneck.
First of all, there's so many moments. First of all, I think people got a chance to see Tank in his splendor, in his comedic, because that's how he is every day.
Tank is an incredibly
He's just
funny,
literally a
personable
funny guy
Absolutely.
every day.
100%.
So I love the fact that they got a chance to see him in that form.
Turtleneck. You might hear that for the rest of the show.
I
but
know,
go ahead.
right?
But
I think ultimately it looked as if Tank was better prepared than Tyrese. They felt the band couldn't really, Tyrese's band couldn't really get it together. It was like they kept starting and stopping. Tank, his band's a group called the band MVP, so with Boy Vaughn and this whole crew, and they've been with Tank for a long time.
I was going to ask, it's because it did seem, or I was going to say rather, it seemed like Tank's band
It's his band. Yeah.
And had better synergy.
Yeah.
With
so MVP's been with Tank for a minute, so they they know how to feed off each other and the whole nine. So it felt smoother to me. Tank's side felt more cohesive. I mean Tyrese came in with a bang though, with
brought
Chinking
out.
And what you like, and you know what I mean. But then I just kind of feel like, I will say this about Tyrese though. What I appreciate about him is he didn't rely on a lot of special guests.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, was that honorable or was that to his detriment?
It's perspective, right?
It is perspective.
I think that somebody could look at it and say that Tank might have needed the help from a song perspective. One perspective, one argument I heard, we were talking about it was like, oh yeah, well, Tank needed to bring the people out. You know what I'm saying? Because the only songs I'm even talking to one. I'm not going to even say his name. I'm going to say that there's a person I know who's a young executive, right? Young in the business, and he was like, I don't know one Tank song. And I'm like, you're in the music business, like you know what I mean? Like he was like, I know Tank and I respect him, but I don't even know why he's a legend. This is what this guy told me, and I'm like, wait. So I had to pull out my phone, like, wait,
wow,
you don't know these songs right here? You don't know? You know what I mean? Like.
Let's not say that guy's name.
Yeah.
I don't want to shame him.
Yeah. So it was like.
But you, sir, should be ashamed.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
But it's almost like Tank's, it was like almost people had to get a history lesson. Like if you didn't know exactly what he did, you found out that night.
There was a moment when Tank sang "Come Over."
Yeah. Yeah.
We obviously have an affinity for Come Over, and Tank has a now legendary part, and the story is well known. But when they were done performing it, Tyrese was like, "So are you just doing songs nobody knows?" I was like, "Oh wow, I feel like people know Come Over and know Tank's involvement with the song
and why it's
important.
To
perform it, why it's important, why it's
Yeah, I think that Tyrese was banking on those those couple big records that he has.
Yeah,
and they're big.
They're
no doubt.
100%.
But I think that
he does. Like, how you gonna act like that?
Yeah,
lately,
Sweet
what do you
Lady.
Some keep pulling me back.
Yeah,
Chingy record. Signs of Love.
Signs of Love. But it goes back to what we said about Versuz. Of course. It goes back to how you play them.
It is like a game of poker or a game of more like a game of spades.
Because I'm saying your experience when you and Troy was setting up and figuring out what you guys were going to play, and because you obviously know new Neil's catalog,
100%.
and how did you match? Okay, well, if he plays this, we're going to play that, and maybe he may jump the gun and play this first, or if I play this and he plays that record, how do we how did y'all pull that together?
So what Troy and I did, when we put the playlist together, Troy had the wisdom of like, okay, we're going to lock the first 3 songs in. And then we'll say lock the last 5 songs in. He was like, because obviously We Belong Together is going to be last. We know that. It's between We Belong Together and Be Without You,
yeah.
And then you're going to play, 2 Aaliyah records,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to play a Chris Brown record. So, like, we have the last 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is like spades, right? Like, so if you got the big joker, if you got the ace of spades, I mean, depend upon how you play, or the deuce of diamonds, however you play spades, you know that you're probably going to hold these cards, last.
Yeah.
Because on the other side, he has an incredible hand as well. This is Neo we're talking about. So Troy was like, this is what we're going to do. First 3 songs, we're not going to move from that. Last 5 songs, we're not going to move from that. Everything else in the middle, I'm going to let you
I'm
going to let you go back and forth and figure out
is.
how you like feel the vibe, see where it's going, and then, one
But
thing
we know what we're doing at the end, the beginning and end. We know what we're doing.
Right. And one thing that we did do, because sometimes, how you'll throw out a big card to test the waters.
Yeah.
So we threw out, I think I Miss You was the second record that I played. So Aaliyah's I Missed You. And I think that did cause some, befuddlement or complacency on the other side, because I think the thought became, oh, if he's playing an Aaliyah record this early,
yes,
he's getting ready to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Not knowing that we had, several other.
And the beautiful thing about you and Neo was like the not knowing. Like people thought they knew. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then you drop records and you can see his reaction like, that too? You know what I mean? Like
when we dropped Come Over, that was and that was a special one because only we still had that record, because the record wasn't on streaming at that time. So that's like playing something that,
almost like unreleased. You know what I feel like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like unheard. You know what I'm saying?
It's so I think it is like playing spades, and that's probably the approach. The fun fact is that we were the 4th, but we were actually, Neo and I were the first format like it is now.
Yeah, exactly. 20 and 20.
The 20 and 20.
Wow.
We were the first 3, they were just going and going and going.
Yeah.
So, with us, Swiss, brought the structure.
Wow.
To it. So, but I mean, shout out to, they have shows coming up together.
Another thing,
they planned it perfectly.
Well, I love the actual platforming of it. Like, okay.
Yeah.
We do the verses, whatever comes out from that got viral moments.
Yep.
The turtleneck moment. You know what I'm saying? Tyrese changing clothes to him talking, I'm valet pull my car up. Like all these moments that are viral moments, they did what they were supposed to do in regards to that.
They did.
And now
it was nice.
They're doing shows. They're gonna sell out. We know they're gonna make money. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to Tyrese and Tank.
Big shout out to Tyrese and Tank. We'll move on from what's now. I guess I'll just say damn, Chili. I saw everything that's been going on with Chili from TLC. Damn.
It's a tough one, bro.
Yeah, but we won't dwell on salaciousness.
Yeah.
We will, we will move on. Damn chili.
I'll say this.
Okay,
I'll
what
say
will you
that.
say?
I'll say that it's really interesting to see how this thing evolved, right? Because you would have never in a million years thought that the main audience 30 years later for TLC would be it's only black women,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
This is why whatever happened with Chili's was hurting them.
yeah,
Because it's like back in the 90s, she might have got away with it because, they were,
yeah.
world, it was a lot of white people come to their concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no white people coming to the TLC, Salt and Pepper. That's all black women.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So now you have, in this time, it's so fragile. You know what I mean?
Just
It's a tough place to be. And goddamn, to come up just out of nowhere,
Yeah,
all these old interviews come in and
yeah. On sessions, we're gonna avoid the politics
oh
and the
yes, please,
salaciousness and all of that.
please, yeah.
But just, damn it, you hate to see it. It's
Hate to
more
see
of
it. That's what it
it's
is.
more
That's
than
what it
anything.
is.
You hate to
Hate to
see it.
see it, bro.
Damn it, Chili. Damn it, Tiger Woods. And now let's move on. Tiger.
Hey, yo, that that mugshot, he look crazy.
I'm actually, no, we're not gonna toast to Tiger
No.
Woods being behind the wheel of a car. We're not gonna do
They're
that.
gonna do that. They're gonna do that.
Tiger Woods. Okay. What is new in
The business.
music?
The boy Zeke, man. Ezekiel Lewis, man.
Ezekiel Lewis,
Our
our
guy.
brother, member of the
Member
Clutch.
of the Clutch.
Yes, songwriter, producer,
Mm-hmm.
vocal producer,
Yeah.
engineer, and now longtime executive, has been named the chairman and CEO of
Epic Records.
Epic Records.
Congratulations. We're gonna
by the
toast
way.
to that.
We'll toast to that. There it
We'll
is.
just toast to that. Yes, sir. We'll toast to
Yes.
that. So yeah.
Cheers. Now this is.
Oh.
This is high proof tequila. It's
Shit.
yeah. It's
Got a little
little
bite
kick to it.
Yeah.
It's vegetal.
Okay.
I'm getting
Burns the nostrils.
yes. That's pure gasoline right there.
That's good though.
Remind me to tell you it reminds me of a rich nigga tale.
Okay.
But we'll get
We'll get back to that.
later. Ezekiel, congratulations, seriously.
Yeah, big shout out to Zeke, man. I
Yes.
think that in watching him, I think I hit him earlier. I was like, bro, watching you transition into this role, it's been a slow process from the time you started at Motown almost 10 years ago. Might have been 10 years ago.
It may have been longer.
Been longer than that.
Might have been
longer,
longer, yeah.
To where you are now, I'm like, man, it's truly inspiring. You know what I mean? Because
It
it's
is.
like, we all came up together. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And then to watch you go through all of the things that you have to go through to become an executive, and to the ups, the downs, the wins, probably more losses than wins, and you being blamed for things, and it's a great thing to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Blame for things that weren't your fault. Not giving credit for things that you were responsible for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, it's great to see, that space still be held by an African American. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because those top executive spots are becoming very rare for us. You know what I mean? In these times. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And two of the last three have been black men,
And I think we had Sylvia.
And then we had the legendary.
The legendary.
And shout out and cheers to a legendary contribution and career on, from Miss Sylvia Rona.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd use the whole show up to talk about
Yeah, I mean, for real,
what Miss Rona's done.
For real.
But from LA to Sylvia
to Zeke.
now Zeke. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's incredible, man. And what I like about it is that we know that Zeke is a song guy.
Yes.
We know that he's really a music guy.
He is.
And not that Sylvia and we know LA and Sylvia they're greats. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But it's just
But they come from a song time.
exactly.
Right? Zeke is now a song guy in a time where
It's more about
the
data.
algorithm, the follows,
Exactly.
the impressions,
Exactly.
all of the other, data buzzwords that the bean counters and most of these labels, like to throw around,
Yeah.
where you can play them, fucking Be Without You.
They'll totally miss it.
And, but I was looking, I was looking at the socials and I don't know, they just don't have a lot of impressions.
Yeah.
And,
How many
they're not
times have
fitting
I
into
heard
the
that?
algorithm.
The algorithm.
Algorithm my nuts. Algorithm these. To all of
Algorithm
you
these.
label executives who want to talk about the algorithm, I got something for you, the algorithm.
These.
These. But Zeke is a song guy.
Yeah.
Is about the song. I mean, so from, so when you look at like the big successes, it goes, Zeke's successes are tied to a saying that we've always said, it's about the song.
It's about the song, bro.
Tyler, Water is a great fucking song.
It's a great
That's
record.
a song.
Great
Right?
record. Great record. You know what I'm saying?
Giveon has, I mean, they're putting up, more and more, of great songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Zeke is a song guy, and it is, we're happy for him, and more than anything, happy to see someone who understands, how it is done on one side.
Yeah.
And then is able, he's now learned the business side of it and is able to use his creative side, to continue to put up these wins.
Exactly.
Which leads to a question that I have for you. Like, do you see this as a trend? Creatives, in these positions and running the business? And if so, like, what would that mean for people with a strong creative background to
I think
now take these positions?
Yeah, I think that we've always seen this. You know what I mean? I think back in the day, and you had to be creative to be, especially with us, with African Americans, you had to be a creative to get in the door. You talk about Quincy Jones, the first black A&R man at Mercury Records. It was strictly on the fact because he
was creative.
could create. He could get
Yeah.
It wasn't just him picking songs. It was him being able to identify songs, write the charts, produce,
Right.
everything that goes along with it.
Barry Gordy doesn't get
like,
talked about enough as a song. Like Barry Gordy is a songwriter.
And the reason why Motown exists is because he wrote a couple of hits and was upset about the pay.
Yep.
And was like, and looked at the structure of the company and was like, I could do this. You know what I mean? And took his knowing how to make hit records and his, assembly line perspective of running a company that he learned at GM and looking at that company saying, this company is a shabby company. I work for a company that's a multi, whatever, you know what I mean? GM was a, huge company. I'm gonna just blend all this and make it Motown. You know what I'm saying?
The assembly line model. Yeah.
And just inserted hit records.
Yeah.
Right? It's
interesting because I wonder now, looking back, would he think of himself as, a logistics and delivery company? Like,
wow.
And music was the thing that we just happened to deliver master logistics on.
That was the product.
But we weren't a music company. We were a logistics and delivery company.
I never even thought about it.
I wonder if he, that'd be an interesting question to
because
ask
that's
Mr.
exactly.
Gordy, if you see this, we'd love to have you on, by the way.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Jesus. Absolutely.
But so I think it's a good thing. You're right in that we've always had it. We mentioned earlier L.A. Reid.
L.A. Reid, I mean, all of them. I mean, it feels like the '90s bred that. Like that was the. It felt like the '90s. That was the actual formula. You know what I mean? You think about everybody who, had labels and then decided to go into, the record company business. Like LA had a profitable, like one of the most profitable record labels,
Correct.
and then went and ran one of the biggest record labels in the
Absolutely.
world, right? We
Absolutely.
talked about Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy Iovine was a Grammy Award-winning, multi-platinum producer.
Yeah. Working with Bruce Springsteen, Stevie Nicks. Yeah.
Like you
Tom
too,
Petty.
Tom Petty.
U2, yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, produced monumental albums on these. Not just, he produced like important albums. He
Yeah.
produced Rattle and
Not
Hum for
just a
U2.
joint here and there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He
Not
produced,
just a-
he produced monumental albums, you know what I mean? And then decided, I'm gonna start Interscope Records.
Yeah.
And, his story is well documented on when he decided to say, well, I want to produce the producer.
Mm-hmm.
That only comes from the fact of him being a producer
Correct.
and knowing how important that is to the process. And understanding that economically, he could do better for the producer than he got done.
Correct.
Because he understands
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? He understands the economics. I'm the label. I actually have the power to do. So I'm going to make a better deal, a partnership with Dre. I'm going to make a better partnership. I'm going to do a partnership with Pharrell and do a partnership with Trent Reznor and give him his own label and give, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Versus, just having him produce acts for Interscope.
I think it's a good sign, you know, that and hopefully a sign of things to come, for a creative like Zeke, to be in that position.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, it's important to have someone who understands that creative side. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, and not be completely illiterate to how business works.
Yeah.
Because I think those things, they have to go hand in hand. We
They
are
have
in
to.
the music business.
And business is a longer word.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So say that part again.
Business is a longer word.
We're in the music business and business is a longer word. So
Yeah.
there is, there is a structure and how things go. You want to turn a profit. You can't exist without one. We understand that.
Yeah.
But I do think that when it's all about business and, then the creativity and the things, because while we are in business,
Music
our
drives
job
it.
is still to give the people
Mm-hmm.
something,
Yep.
to give, this is still art.
Yeah.
Bodies of work that will last. And who's to say that you can't do both?
Mm-hmm.
But I think when business only kind of guides and governs decision making, I think that puts us in a worse position overall. Ultimately, like you may, turn a profit, in the now.
Mm-hmm.
But down the road, you weaken your company,
Yeah.
you weaken, the art that's coming out,
Mm-hmm.
all of these things because, you still need someone that has a creative, beacon and gut
Yeah. That's the thing, gut too.
to go by.
Yeah.
I had a troubling conversation with an executive. And this is not to be salacious. Because I'm not going to do that. But I was having a conversation with L.A. Reid,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about an album. And he was wanting to pick the single
Mm-hmm.
based on how many streams each record had gotten since the album had been released. So we're talking about picking a single
Mm-hmm.
um, based on, just how many streams it's gotten so far.
Yeah.
That's a forsaking of the gut.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Yeah,
show
yeah,
me
I
a
get it.
piece
I
of
get it.
paper that tells me, well, this record, got this many streams, so that's the people telling us they want this to be a single.
Mm-hmm.
What does your gut tell you? You have an illustrious history. I don't feel bad about telling this story because of the illustrious history
Yeah.
that Mr. Reed has of picking his.
Yeah.
Because I can also talk about the story of him saying, I think y'all got one more in you, and that one more turning out to be we belong together. So there's
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
that's gut.
That's gut.
First, so we've gone from gut. I think y'all got one more in you. I think,
Go back down there and figure it out.
go back down there. If you don't figure it out, then fuck it, we'll go with Shake It Off.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you got one more, and it's We Belong Together. I want it to be that versus, well, this piece of paper tells me that this should be the same.
Yeah, and I mean, we know that data, data can work. We know it's worked in the past, but we know that most of our biggest records, most of our biggest moments always come from gut feeling. I mean, I can't even think of a moment that I've had where it wasn't a gut feeling.
No, 100%. No, that's 100%
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
You Be Without You
Mm.
and
I mean, all
what
of
we
it.
did,
Yeah.
and with Ron Fair hearing it and knowing it, and bringing what he brought, and then Mary's vocal, um and and all of those things. Even with Jimmy saying, I'm not really an R&B guy, so I don't know. As opposed to telling us about what data says.
Exactly.
It's just like, okay, I don't know. Let me toss it around to people who's
Who has more? That's why his team was so special, because he had people who knew things he didn't know. Right.
I believe our job as creatives, and even the people who work the business side of it, is to work together, figure out what the vision is, execute that vision, and then present it, right? Like, so, and then it's up to the people to tell us if the vision was right.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna sample the people on what my creative vision should be.
I agree.
As what Steve Jobs said, the person who said that the customer is always right, I assure you was the customer.
Yep. You're right. You're right.
Steve Jobs didn't consult the public on what my fucking computer should look like.
The music business has become.
Right.
Right?
I'm consulting, the algorithm, the impressions, all of these things, that sway with the wind.
I mean, today, tomorrow, you don't know what's going to happen.
I like it today, I might not like it
I might
tomorrow.
not like it tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Or this thing might be going viral because I think it stinks. I think it's funny.
Right.
I think it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's, there's so much of that happening.
Right.
Where like a record's like getting traction and it's like, wait a second, it's only getting traction because they're making fun of it. So then it's like, do you then say, as a label, I'm gonna bank on that because it's doing numbers?
Or I bank on another one. We've always had a Right Said Fred type of record.
Yep.
I'm Too Sexy For.
Always. Mm-hmm.
The answer to that was to continue to push it and make it the global mega smash that, like, I'm not hating on I'm Too Sexy.
Yeah.
I'm saying don't go sign 3 more Right Said Freds.
Exactly.
That's the lesson.
That's the lesson.
Don't shut Right Said Fred down.
Let them keep doing what they're doing.
But you don't need 2 more.
We don't need to flood the market with Right Said Fred, bro.
We don't, you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? I got you.
That's probably,
I guess a recent thing where something like that would organically happen, I think, is the Money Long record. I think that's something that they went about it very, very old school. Def Jam went about it very like, we're giving it to the public. We don't really care how it tests. You know what I mean? Or what, you know what I mean?
Give it to the public and wait for it. Is the camera on? Is this the camera? we're gonna do our
We're gonna
fucking
do our
job
job and promote the record.
and promote the fucking record.
We're gonna promote it.
There's an idea.
We was on promotion. We was
There's
on
an idea. You work at this fucking label. How about you do your job
and promote the song.
and promote the music? That's, which they did.
They did. They
Kudos
did.
to Def Jam.
They did. No doubt. They did. We were on
Yeah.
calls every week.
Absolutely.
They promoted, they did their thing. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, I realized, like, why don't they do this more often? But I realized if you're putting out,
100 records a
100,000
day.
songs a day,
Yeah.
if you can't, it's impossible to do it with every song.
We'll have to have Zeke on to talk about it because this does, when we talk about past versus present, I think you look at their height. How many albums do you think Motown was releasing a year? 10 maybe? 15
Albums,
maybe?
like full-length albums,
Albums,
I would say 10.
10 or 15. Singles.
Singles, they were throwing singles out there.
It was because it was a single-driven business.
Yeah.
The LP hadn't
Really taken over yet.
It was a single-driven business in the in the 60s. I feel like, can we say 70s was when the LP
LP started coming into play late 60s, like for real, like they were already
There were
play,
already albums.
but,
There were always albums and long
but
form
when it
content.
became
Yeah.
like, I want to
The
go
thing.
buy an LP.
A body of work.
Like Beach Boys, Pet Sounds, and you know what I mean? Like that's when, like, I don't just want to get a Beach Boys single, I want to experience this whole thing. You know
Right.
what I mean? You got Beatles, Sgt. Pepper, you got, Slash Stones, first album. Like that's when people started buying albums, right?
Okay.
So I'll say late 60s is when it really became a
Got it.
thing, right?
Got it. Okay. But now, at the height, you're talking about so even go beyond a smaller company, niche company at the time, which is what Motown was at the time,
Yeah.
to let's say Atlantic.
Yeah.
I mean, how many records do we think Ahmet Ertegun and Jerry Wexler were releasing?
Couldn't have been no more than it's been the 60s and the 70s. The 70s, it probably became more in the 70s.
Right.
Per label. And it was a lot of labels back then too. Remember, like you only have 3 labels now.
But it's per
Back
label
then,
per year.
Yeah, it was so many labels back then.
Not 100 songs a day.
We're talking about a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now you meet every label, those out of the big 3, then all the sub labels under those 3. And then you gotta understand, it's an independent game. So people are just loading, putting up.
Absolutely.
This is why those DSPs are like overly crowded because
Which and by the way, I applaud the independents and root for them because I do think it is good that the barrier for entry has been eliminated. I was going to say reduced, but I think eliminated. And that's a good thing because there are independent artists who are able to cut through and communicate directly with their consumer base.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing to have a barrier between, someone who's making music, someone, a fan base who would like that person's music.
Yep.
And you being able to talk
directly to them.
And get them the music. I think that that's a great thing.
It's a whole ecosystem too. Like you got touring, it becomes a thing.
To be able to do it. And you find some great things, in R&B and, one of my favorite, acts in the last, year and a half, 2 years, my son, he always looks at me crazy when I say, I was like, I love that Big X the Plug guy.
You do.
I love that guy. He has a great voice. I love it. They say I'm the biggest, the largest. I'm like, oh, that's my shit. Yeah. He's got that. Yeah, he got that's that, and that's that sauce and that type of thing. He's on a label now.
Well, it cut through United Masters.
Exactly right.
So it cut through a independent route,
thing.
You know what I mean?
Shout out to Stout and what they're doing over there. But to be able to speak directly to us.
Shit. Brent Fayez that's how we got Brent Fayez. He was speaking directly to.
Yep. He had built up his base. So it'd be interesting. We got to get Zeke on to talk about past, present, because what you just said, the quantitative versus qualitative. Like, how much of the business, it feels like so much of the business has gone to quantitative.
Oh yeah,
Like,
because they're making money no matter what, right? So
no matter
we
fucking
know
what.
that we know that the labels have stake in all the DSPs. We don't know how much stake they have, but we know they have stake in it. So at this point, it is about quantity. At this point, it's like, okay, yeah, keep putting out 100,000 songs a day,
Yeah.
because it don't matter. We're gonna make the money no matter what, right?
Right. We the label, the company, yeah.
We're gonna make the money no matter what, whether your song has 10 spins or whether it has 10 million spins.
And then we're
You know
gonna
what I'm
reach
saying?
into your pocket on touring and full 360.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
proper
like,
fucking.
yeah.
We're gonna give a proper.
And we're gonna make you feel like, and we're gonna make you think you're independent too, by the way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? We're gonna make
Yeah.
you feel like you're independent. We're gonna do a deal, profit sharing deal. We changing terminology a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Profit share. We share more than 12 points, because back in the day, artists were getting 12, 14 points. So yeah, so it's not that bad.
Right.
That was bad. You think about that, like how bad that was.
It was. But
And you had to recoup against your 12%.
Right.
So no matter what, that's the part that was crazy.
It was crazy.
If you
And the trade-off was that they made you a star, and now that power has kind of transferred to the artist.
Exactly.
That the artists can make themselves.
Exactly.
A star.
For sure, we'll come in and
we can talk about it.
Talk about it. What about publishing? We'll talk about it. For sure, we'll come in and we'll take 25% admin, and you'll own 75%, and you can say I have my own label, and all that. We making more money on the 25% than you making on your 75%. So, cheers.
Jesus, is that right? Are they making?
Because we got 100 deals at 25% or 30%. You know what I mean? So they're making money hand over fist right now. It's crazy. Record labels are more profitable now than they've ever been. Because now they don't have to spend, how you said before, when I said the 12%, the 14%, they're spending
I'd spend money.
$1 million. This is video, this is marketing, this is, promotion, this is recording your album.
$500,000 videos.
All this, right? It's still crazy that they're recouping against your 14% and not against the whole pie, but you get to go on tour. They're not getting they wouldn't get no people tour back then.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
You
There
get
were no
to go
360 deals then.
go make some ancillary money, right? You
Yeah.
know? Now, you do a deal, bro, it's like, what are they gonna give you? $25,000 from your social media marketing budget? $30,000, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
up to you.
At this point,
Yeah.
you gotta do it. So yeah, we gladly give you 70% on the dollar. Cause you gotta go do it. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think is is there a fine line between like instinct and logic? When you're making these records, signing these artists, I think that, because when I look at a place like Interscope, I feel like the core business, like, it was storytelling. So the albums that they signed were reflective of that, and true, creativity on it, right? Like, so it's interesting when you hear Dre talk about, the packaging for the first Chronic album was done. Like, so he's like, what the consumer holds is what I was going around
shopping.
Yeah. I would put that. The album cover is done. It is already packaged. So the liner note, the entire thing,
which was amazing for 1992.
Right. To have that and doing that level of a proof of concept. And Jimmy to understand, there's a story here, even if I don't understand it. It's a compelling story that makes me want to know more.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's almost like if you liken it to, The Godfather is a compelling story. You and I don't know shit about mob life.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right? It made us want to know, like, but the Chronic,
Yeah.
The way they did it, and then so Marilyn Manson and
All that stuff became
all of those things, like the kind of
derivative of
signature of these big labels, Interscope, Motown, Uptown.
Uptown, yeah.
It feels like Andre, sold you lifestyle, like it was
The
a full
Harlem.
Harlem,
Yeah.
just that feeling.
Yeah.
So logic versus instinct to,
Yeah.
where is that line for you?
I think this, you can't really have one without the other, right? If you're pure instinct, then which can be successful, right? If you have a great instinct and you know what it is, you know what I mean? But I think that the best person I think that had the proper blend of that I've worked with in the past, I would say is Clive Davis. Instinct versus logic. Like he was instinctively aware of who Whitney Houston was when she walked in the door. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
Like it was like, stop everything, right? Like she ain't got a song.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Whitney Houston walked in the door without when she walked in with a demo tape. You know what I'm saying?
But he knew.
He was like, I know exactly what to do with this. And I also have the logical background. I was an attorney. Before I ran Columbia Records, I was an attorney for CBS Records, so I understand the business part of it. He learned. He's an example of somebody who actually learned the creative side. He just became enamored with the construct of making records. He wasn't a record maker before. He was in the attorney's office. You know what I'm saying? And by happenstance, they was like, you want to run A&R? He was like, oh, yeah, I'll run A&R. He's thinking he's just going to run, other A&Rs are going to do what they got to do. He's just going to be, and he had to get in there. Miles Davis was like, yo, I'm sending you a suit to come see me at the Fillmore. You got to get in there. You know what I'm saying? Or you got to go to this festival in San Francisco and you see Janis Joplin for the first time and you're like, what is this feeling? This just, He adopted that construct and became, arguably the best at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like you can't really have one without the other. I feel like, but I feel like instinct is got an edge on logic. Because you could have all the logic in the world, but if you don't have the gumption to know when to go, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Without instinct, no one, and sticking with Clive, without instinct, you don't feel like a 60-plus-year-old Latin guitarist who's had 40 years in the game can be paired with Wyclef Jean and Rob Thomas and make the biggest album of his career as a
he sold like
senior,
20 million records, something like that, right?
as a senior citizen.
He was a senior citizen, so double platinum. Double diamond almost.
Double diamond.
You know what I mean?
Song of the year, record of the year, album of the year.
In the 60s.
Yeah.
During a time when, hip hop is reigning supreme.
Yeah.
When pop music is, we got Britney Spears, NSYNC. Like pop music is reigning supreme.
And Clive has the instinct that Carlos Santana maybe has one more in him.
One more in him.
Jesus Christ, I think.
And Diddy.
I think this senior citizen has one more in him.
And the way he did it was not like, he obviously...
Because that's the logic. The logic is how he did. Go ahead. I didn't mean to step on you. But
no, you're right, though. For him to do it that way, because there were other older artists he had signed to the label, like a Barry Manilow, like a Rod Stewart, right? And he said, okay, no, we're going to have success with them too, but we're going to do it in their perspective, lanes, and age range. We're going to have Rod Stewart do standards. We're going to have Barry Manilow do the Barry Manilow thing, and we're going to have some success with that. For him, he saw with Carlos Santana and even with the Luther Vandross, when he signed Luther Vandross, a direct correlation, a bridge from the youth to that music.
I can get some sauce. I can get some sauce.
Because what young people what young rock artists don't love Carlos Santana? What young R&B creative don't love Luther Vandross?
Right. Yeah.
He's going to get anybody who want to do anything
Yeah.
black to go work with Luther Vandross.
I
Same thing
mean,
with Carlos Santana.
I
You
mean,
know?
and then and it keeps on giving. I mean, Rihanna and Khaled, they sample that record.
It's Carlos Santana, bro. 20 years before. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just it gave to another generation.
Yeah.
It gave to his generation, gave to our generation
And
in
then it
that
gave to the
moment,
young
and then
people.
20 years later gave, to
Yeah.
a completely
It's crazy.
yeah, when you
When you
think
really think
about
about
it.
it, it's crazy.
Now I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Creatives who, I don't want to say transfer into business because I do feel like the following names that I'm about to say, were already in the business, but expanding, I will say. Um, do you think that it takes more of a creative mind or a business mind? Um, and how do you kind of view the following?
Mm-hmm.
Jay,
Mm-hmm.
50, Pharrell,
Mm-hmm.
three incredible, even Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre, yeah.
Um, we're talking about creativity and business.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that I have to flag it,
We have to flag it, right?
but when we're talking about creative people who've expanded into business, um, you know, Diddy has to
You
be
have to talk
mentioned.
about Puff, yeah. Yeah, you have
Right,
to bring him
right.
up. I agree.
Just from that
Yeah.
aspect.
I mean, even Kanye, you
Even
got, you know what I
Ye,
mean?
right?
I mean, he brought Adidas out of the dark ages. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
So I think, but do you think that's more creative um, or business minded, right? Like I wonder,
That's a good
if
question.
if I could ask, you know, any of them a question, if I could ask Jay or ask 50, like, do you still see yourself as a
Creative.
right,
So, uh, and we've listed very different styles
right? We
of
run the
business
gamut,
people.
right? So
Yeah,
Jay, 50, Diddy, Dre,
yeah,
Kanye,
Kanye.
Pharrell.
Yeah,
That's a
different styles,
right, yeah,
right?
yeah,
I think that Jay is that's just what his DNA, like where he's from, what he's experienced. If you watch any interview, read any article, if you know anything about his history, if you listen to his early albums, what he was talking about, the 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 places they came from. You know what I mean?
hmm
Um, if you know Dame's story, the Harlem and All Out crew, Dame and Biggs, you know their story. If you know, that's just what they were already doing, but they were doing it, in another world. You know what I
hmm
mean? But they were already, I remember watching an interview. Memphis Bleak was talking about like, you know, Jay-Z always had money. Like he said, he never not known. He said they had his room had in the projects, but the room had the air conditioner with the all white and the white television. He was like, Jay-Z always had money. You know what I'm saying? That is
hmm
something that you just he he is who he is from that. You know
right,
what I mean? I just think he was able to apply. He had a talent. He had a team that believed in this talent, and when others didn't, right? And they used their smarts to get to. They weren't afraid to work. They used their smarts to work, and make these people, come on in. You know what I'm saying? And once that, it becomes culture. Now you are when you're in with Russell and you watch Russell do Fat Farm, and when you're in with, you're cool with Puff and you watch Puff do Sean John, and you watching all these different you getting in business with these Russians, and now you just know how to move in rooms because you done moved in the worst rooms already. You know what I mean? Same thing with 50 Cent, right? 50 the same thing. It's like his business acumen came out of necessity. Like they tried to kill him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not just literally, they try to kill him figuratively too in the music business. He couldn't even go to Sony. He was banned from a record label he was signed to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Warner Chappell released him. Publishers never release songwriters.
Ever.
Like, no matter how many years you've been signed to them and you ain't done no song. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, they were literally trying to bury this man's career. So out of retaliation, you gotta get on it, right? And then you get with the team, you with Dre, M, and Jimmy, but that, you understand, he'd already built up his business acumen before he got there. Remember how the buzz about that deal, like he got a $1 million signing bonus or something like that, was unheard of at the time.
It was.
You know what I mean? So I think he's still operating from that chip. I think what makes 50 Cent this thing and why he's so successful, on top of he has great ideas, and obviously he's executing them well.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's 50 Cent, he's killing it. But I think that chip is the motivation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You say somebody like Kanye or Pharrell, I think that, well, let me say Kanye, right? Kanye has the same kind of 50 Cent chip, but he also is a kid, who had a mom who was, an educator and who he lived in China for a year. And you know what I mean? Like, Kanye has all these different layers of things that motivate him and inspire him, right?
I didn't know that he lived in
Lived in China for a year.
Wow.
So his mom would go teach overseas, and there's other things. It might have been 2 years he was in China, right? All that stuff shapes. You're born in Atlanta, you move to Chicago. Your mother's an educator. You live abroad for 2 years as a kid. You come back. You in Chicago, but Chicago is a very interesting place because on one side is super hood, the other side of Chicago is a very art-rich place. You know what I mean? Very, very, the home of Donny Hathaway, the birthplace of Quincy Jones, Shaka Khan. It's very rich in, Black music and in history. You know what I mean? So you're learning all of that, right? And then, you meet no ID, and you know what I mean? Like, all these things happen. This in the midst of you being an artistic person anyway.
Right.
Right? So, in Chicago, people got style. It's a lot of style.
Chicago's
there.
a great city.
You know what I mean?
I love Chicago.
So you're growing up around all this, Michael Jordan, he's growing up in the years where Michael Jordan is the king of Chicago. So, you can't help but be inspired.
Right.
You know what I mean? Pharrell, same thing, just artistic, man.
I think those guys, right, they're artists.
They're artists first.
Yeah. And they switch, mediums.
Yeah, the business is, the business, I think, and I'm going on a limb right now, but I think for Kanye and Pharrell, the business is really a means to an end. Like, they don't really, if they didn't have to deal with the business, they wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I could just go make some shit and it come out and it be number one, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to deal with the business, If you don't deal with business, then you have issues down the line, like they both have with litigation and people saying that they ain't get, credited for this, and that, third. You don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think that it's I wonder if there's a shift. It'd be great to, to talk to any of those guys to see, like, when you become so massive, like, how close are you still to your core business? Does your core business change? Does you know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know if we'll ever get another 50 Cent album, but he still is a story. He's still giving us amazing stories.
And I guess the question is, like, I've asked this question before about Jay. It was like does 50 Cent still write? It was like Jay, like is Jay still like actively writing? You know what I'm saying?
I want to say that he is, just because I think that's something. I think it's a
Because you have all
gift
these
that he'll
things going on.
always,
You like,
he may not ever put it out. Um, and shout out to the big homie. We didn't talk about that in what's
oh
new.
yeah, man, goodness gracious.
3 sold out dates.
Roots picnic going on.
Roots picnic.
What he said, we doing offense this year. He said we're not playing defense no more.
Are we getting a Jay album?
That's what I'm saying.
Are we getting a Jay? Is he prepping us for so yeah.
Hey man.
Now here's the thing. Creatives in these positions, like Zeke, do you think that they can truly shift the system, or is it inevitable that they will be shaped by the system?
I think it depends, right?
Are they Neo, or are they going to conform to the Matrix?
Most people conform, right?
To the Matrix.
And when it comes to that, because the people we also named, they own their thing.
Right.
So they're not conforming to, like, Jay-Z doesn't, work for Sony. He owns Roc Nation.
He owns Roc Nation.
50 Cent doesn't work for Interscope Records. He owns G Unit. You know what I mean? Those people, Pharrell works for Louis Vuitton, but it's not in the same construct as like the music business. You know what I mean? He owns his music business. You know what I mean? To be an executive at a major label, and a top executive, like the Tunjis of the world, and what's my man who runs Columbia? Not Stringer, but
I was gonna say Rob. Yeah,
Stringer runs Sony in general, but like the Peter Edges and people, you know what I mean? Like they're still protocol, right? They're still corporate protocol. So that's the thing. I think that a person like LA might have been the only person I knew that could operate outside of the corporate protocol the way he did, because it's just his gift. And, what's my man who used to run Sony, who's at university with the Sony? I don't know why I'm losing his name.
But so I'll give my take while you're looking at that. I think that it's almost impossible because you have to play the game a little bit. So I think to last within the system, you have to be shaped by it just a little bit, because I think to be a total maverick, your days are kind of numbered, because one mistake, and then the people inside of the system who've been itching to get, because true system people don't like mavericks.
Wow. True corporate
System people don't like mavericks, innovation, any of those things, because they can't understand it. You know what I mean? You're trying to talk creativity and innovation, to a bean counter is, it's
because all they're doing is counting beans, bro. That's all they care about.
That's all they're gonna do. And so, they are
Doug Morris.
Oh, of course,
Doug Morris. Doug Morris. I'm like, I know. I'm like, I don't know why. Doug Morris. Yeah. So, but yeah, we were talking about before.
Yeah. So I think, you're gonna be shaped a little bit if you're going to last. Hopefully, you're able to hang on to as much of your instinct and creativity as you can, which we are. Zeke has done a great job of that, and we're continuing to root for Zeke, that he,
I want artists to continue to support him, though, the way, I think of a lot of executives who, we're cool with, like Aaron Bashuk and like a Mike Karen,
Yeah.
Craig Kalman, who's been around since,
Craig Kalman.
he's a legend, right?
Yeah. Tubby. I
Tubby,
mean, yeah.
I feel like a lot of those executives continue to get support, like regardless,
Mm-hmm.
and they're able to navigate.
KP.
They're able to navigate. I just want us to support Zeke in that same kind of way. You know what I mean? I'd like to see him be, in that spot for a while.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like,
Agreed.
you know what I'm saying? I don't want that to be like because he comes from us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, everybody has their people they support. We've supported a lot of people that we didn't really know that well. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So
Correct.
it's like, for me, I just want us to be able to support Zeke and really help him in every way that we can. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. And what impact does, or meaning does this have for the future?
Well, I mean, I think, for the Epic Records roster, I think that they're gaining. They've been working with Zeke obviously for the past few years as he was the president of the company. So I think that he'll obviously as a chairman and CEO is going to have more responsibility, but I think that he'll make good decisions on who he needs to shift power to. I just wanted to be successful. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be successful. I want to keep his eye on the prize. Let's not lose focus. There's a lot of distractions out there. And
They
now
out
is
there
not the
waiting
time.
on you, man.
And now is not the time.
Now is not the time.
You know what I'm saying?
No distractions.
Boy.
Mm-hmm. Distractions will find a nigga.
Nigga.
I don't care. It don't care who you are either.
No, it don't. It don't. So, but I think that Zeke, for a person like Zeke, he's been in this business a long time.
100%, yeah.
And he's seen a lot.
Yeah,
he's already been through a lot.
Absolutely.
I think they couldn't have. Like I said, when Silver retired, I was like the only person they better hire Zeke. Was like there's no other person. They better hire him. You know what I mean?
I do think that was a signal or, something that I took from, the so-called bean counters, that they were able to make a good decision there.
Yep.
And to be able to see that Zeke was the logical choice and really the only choice, the proper choice for, that position. So maybe it is a good sign that the creative and business side are beginning to form a healthier partnership.
I agree.
Because I don't know if that decision is made 6 or 7 years ago.
True.
True.
I
think 6 or 7 years ago, probably, if when Miss Roan steps down, you probably see the streak of Black leadership ended.
Yeah, you see the no disrespect, but you see the person who's running Epic in London to come over here and become, like that's just, no disrespect, but that's what's been happening.
Right.
You know what
100%.
I mean? And it's good to see that, and I might, they're running it anyway right now, but it's good to see them say, no, Epic is successful. Zeke is a great executive.
Let's promote from within.
Let's promote from within.
And, let's keep this, we are unabashed supporters of the culture.
Yes, sir.
Of this Blackness.
You better believe it, baby.
So, we gonna root for everybody Black.
What they say?
And we gonna root for our brother Zeke. As someone with a long history in the culture.
Yeah.
And we couldn't be more proud of him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Continuing the tradition, and
it's a pivot too, because I think so. Like the transitions, I was also thinking about like how players go into coaching,
Yes.
and it's hard to do both well,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Yes.
so. And it'd be interesting to ask Zeke if he's fully hung up his jersey
I'm writing.
on writing.
That's a good question.
So we gotta get
We
Zeke
got to
on.
get Zeke on.
We're
That's a
just gonna
great
call
question.
next time Zeke is in
Yeah, that's a
town.
great question.
Has he fully hung up his jersey?
Does you dust off the pen every now and again?
Or does he dust
Give
it
us a hook or
off?
give us a, you know what I'm saying?
Every now and again, just to, do it. I do it. Every now and again, I dust off the pen. But yeah, you see the transition. So it's like, he's like Michael Jordan
Yeah.
going into, from playing to ownership.
Mm.
And, shit, now Mike is in NASCAR.
Killing it. Winning, by the way.
Winning in
Winning.
NASCAR.
Winning.
Winning
Crazy.
in NASCAR. I saw Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing this
He was there.
this hoodie, the F1 Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
This was the Vegas one from last year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see him at that one. I saw him at F1 in Miami.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I feel like I'm slipping into. Wait a minute. These are the tales, the
The
rich
rich
nigga
nigga tales.
tales. These are the tales that I tell so well. Yes, a quick rich nigga tale before we get up out
Got
of
one. I'm
here.
so glad we able to get one now. Been waiting for the rich nigga tale this time.
We got a rich nigga tale. This was 4 years ago in Miami, in the F1. During F1. I suggested everyone go. Our producer Dante was asking, is that the one? I say for the overall experience in America, Miami is probably great. I think Austin is the better race to me. Abu Dhabi is.
What else should Abu Dhabi? That was something.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Abu Dhabi, baby.
I didn't even quite understand like what was happening when we was there. I was kind of like, this is crazy.
This is rich Saudi tales.
Rich Saudi tales.
Yeah, that we tell so well. But no, it was a great weekend. I went to this dinner that was, inside of the Fountain Blue, private room. They had one of the chefs, the most amazing crudo, hamachi crudo. They must have just gotten it out the water.
They must have just gotten
that day.
Yeah, man.
Right? And it was, I feel like it was a AP dinner.
Okay.
From that, I could have my brands wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, being down like in the pit and then just like seeing Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to say to like Michael Jordan really does have an aura.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, damn.
What AI says, like, yeah.
It's so we're sitting there.
Michael Jordan, man.
You're not really supposed to be drinking down there in the pit. Nigga had a little something.
Of course he did.
I'm talking about me.
Oh, you?
I don't know if he did. I don't want to put that on Mike.
But you was definitely drinking.
Oh man, beautiful Tom Ford piece. I'm gonna get the pictures. We'll try to, put this up as
reference.
Yeah, for reference. Down in the pit with the Tom Ford, down on the field with the Tom Ford suit. Anyway, but he does have the aura.
Yeah.
And to just like now see him transfer that, because he's in ownership now, but he's like bringing that player type of aura everywhere that he goes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You realize, when you're in his presence that you are actually in the presence of a winner.
It is the presence.
He's a winner, bro.
I win.
He's a winner,
right?
Bro.
And so
for real.
Absolutely.
He's a winner.
So, down, it's like aura amongst, all of this, I mean, this is Miami.
Yeah.
This is F1. This is, I am the poet's rich nigga there. This is, you don't want to get into rich nigga tales with Michael Jordan. We know this.
We know this.
I would never
We
try
know
to
this.
give Michael Jordan a rich nigga tale. I'm including him in mine. He's never going to include me in his. He's not going to be like, yo, Johnta was over there. I saw him there. He was that's okay, Mike. It's okay.
It's okay,
Mike
man.
is in my rich nigga tale.
Yeah.
But it is to put a pin, to put a point on it. I want to see the creatives that make that transition still bring that energy. Bring that player energy to what you do.
I hear you.
Zeke has a background of writing and constructing hits. He's bringing that winning energy over to the executive side. And I want to keep seeing him doing it, keep seeing him do it, at a high level, which is the level that he's operating at now. That's my final thought.
Yeah.
Blended in with a rich nigga tale.
Well, man, look, we appreciate y'all checking us out this time around. This is my guy, the great.
Johnta Austin, and this is my main man.
I'm your boy B. Cox, man. Listen, and thank you for watching Sessions.
Cheers, guys.